Good morning, little saints. Happy Wednesday to you.
Raindrops falling, winter feels so gloomy. Hear a knock upon my door. Stranger calling.
Stranger. It's Worshipful Wednesday. What did I say? Did I say Happy Wednesday or Happy Tuesday? It's Wednesday, so it's Worshipful Wednesday, and that was Jefferson Starship singing Stranger. So, I have all this tied together. I give deep thought to these things. Can't you tell? This morning I was reading in the upper room, and it was from the scripture reading for the devotion today was from James, the second chapter, verses 1 through 5, and it talks about treating strangers and people who are perhaps different than us, perhaps poorer than us, or the rich, treating everyone equally, and how important it is to do so, because that's, God has a special place in God's heart for the stranger, for the poor, for those in need. So it's not good for us to welcome anybody differently into our lives. How hard is that? Really? We make judgment calls just like that when we see somebody. Just like that. It's very hard, I think, to let those filters down and not make judgments on people when we see them, but to just judge them as children of God. That's how we should do, and it's really hard, I think. I got tickled at Ruth. I follow her on Twitter. That's the only reason why I let her have a Twitter account, is if she lets me follow her. And she tweeted the other day, and I thought this was just classic. She said, "I try not to judge people until I get to know them." Okay, that may be a little better, but why judge at all? How can we put ourselves in a place of judgment of anybody? I remember a quick story. I remember once when I was a pastor several years ago, I was practicing for Easter on a Saturday and the church was all closed up. And for some reason the front doors were unlocked. Never, ever were the front doors unlocked. But I was practicing for Easter, and I was in the habit of picking up the big pulpit Bible and walking out into the sanctuary and down the aisle of the pew while I read the Easter story. And as I read that, somebody came in from the front door. Front door is always locked. It was very weird. And to beat all, this guy's name turned out to be John. I was reading from the Gospel of John. Okay, this all gets very, very odd. I was reading from the Gospel of John. This man named John walks in, and he says, if you have a minute, can you help me look up a scripture? And I'm like, well, that's an odd request. Why? It turns out he was from a background that he'd never been taught how to look up scripture. So I was like, I got kind of tickled because I'm there with this Moo Heifer Bible, the pulpit Bible, in my hand. I said, well, I got a Bible right here. Let's look it up. And we looked it up, and it was about, it was from it was from the Gospel of John, the first chapter, talking about how Jesus is the light of the world and the darkness has never overcome it. And he went, oh, okay. And it turned out he'd been given this scripture as an assignment to look up from a psychiatrist. Also something I thought was very strange, because psychiatrists don't normally, I don't think, pull in religion and to therapy. So anyway, but what went on, we went on to have a conversation about the ministry of the church. We went outside and sat down, and we were talking about the ministry of the church and how the church could better relate to the poor and minister to the poor. And then the guy left, and I thought, this was just the strangest conversation. It was like God was embodied in this person, in this stranger. And over the months to come, John would pop in every once in a while, and we would have these very good conversations. Turned out, I don't know what happened to John. I would like to find out what happened to John. I may have to get on Facebook and see if somebody might know. Anyway, you never know what's going on with a stranger. It could change your life. So be open, be careful, but be open. Be open to strangers in your life. Have a good day. Peace.